The Chicago Bears. This is wild scene to me, the Chicago Bears.
Go ahead.
Mitchell Trubisky, who has struggled, to say the least, to play football this year, but has still started for the Chicago Bears.
Bear done.
Got benched with 3 minutes left in the game for Chase Daniel. They come out afterwards, after he walks off the field with a little bit of a limp, I guess, all by himself. He comes out with 3 minutes and some left after Matt Nagy pulls him aside, has his BU thing in front of him, gives him an entire speech, and they put Chase Daniel in a game that they were still in on primetime television. Mitchell Trubisky gets benched. They come out afterwards and say, no, he has a hip pointer. He was pulled out because of the injury. But the hip pointer happened 2.5 quarters ago, so he's played with it. But until the moment that they really need him, 3 minutes left, with a chance to potentially go down, hit an onside kick, he gets benched on primetime television. I asked the question, did Ryan Pace know that Nagy was going to bench Mitchell Trubisky? Did Ryan Pace, who was up in that booth all by himself, know that Mitchell Trubisky's hip got hurt? Did Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy have a conversation before the game that said, if Mitchell continues to struggle and we're in a chance, we're in a desperate situation, I'm going to pull him and put Chase Daniel? I would argue that right now, the way things are going, Ryan Pace and Nagy were not on the same page, because a hip pointer is a bone bruise, which means it is a pain threshold thing, which means you can give them a shot, you can get it going. That's kind of the way they handle it. For me, 3 days after getting pulled out of a game because you couldn't handle the pain of a hip pointer, a bone bruise on the iliac crest is what I was told. That's the hip bone down there. I called my friend who had a hip pointer a couple of years ago, asked him what it is. I said, is this a rip or a tear of a ligament? He's like, no, it's a bone bruise. So it's all whether or not you can handle the pain or not. So for 2.5 quarters, Mitchell Trubisky could handle the pain and play quarterback. For that 3 minutes, though, in the middle of the game with his adrenaline up, he couldn't handle it anymore. So if a bone bruise is the issue, you have to be the one to tell people, like, hey, this hurts too much, I can't play anymore. So a coach telling somebody that your hip looks like it's hurt and it's a bone bruise is not an accurate statement. So now that Mitchell Trubisky is back in practice just 3 days later, 4 days later, after not being able to handle 3 more minutes of a bone bruise pain, it just raises even more questions to this entire thing. I think what could potentially happen was Ryan Pace and Nagy were not on the same page. Nagy and Pace had to have a conversation after Nagy benched him clearly. And he said, hey, yeah, his hip was hurting a little bit. And Pace goes, I traded up to draft this guy over Deshaun Watson, over Patrick Mahomes, over Christian McCaffrey, and you're just going to bench him? No. He's our quarterback. He's in practice. He's starting back up, even though you benched him for an injury just 4 days ago.
Something seems fishy. And we looked at it on Google, and he either has SARS or with an injury like that, you need to sit out 1 to 3 weeks.
I don't know about SARS, how that plays in, but I do know
it always pops up when you put in your symptoms on the internet. SARS is always an issue.
I think so, unless Mitchell and by the way, with the hip pointer, nobody outside of the human knows that it even happened because it's a bone bruise. So the only thing that affects is you're wincing or something like that. Mitchell Trubisky would have had to say to somebody, hey, I can't go anymore. That's what he would have had. He would have had to say, hey, I can't go anymore. So if he did that, okay, good for him, looking out for himself with 3 minutes left, team down 10.
Yikes, not a game.
That's an interesting decision. Or Nagy said, hey, your hip looks hurt, you're done. I didn't tell Pace. This is on national television. This is going to be a conversation everybody's just going to have to deal with.
If it's bad enough, you have to come out of the game with 3 minutes left. You shouldn't be practicing on Wednesday.
Or Thursday. I mean, it's just something that doesn't happen. Something's fishy over there. Seems like a lot of miscommunication happening between coach, GM, and quarterback. The Chicago Bears are in the market for a new quarterback, new GM, and potentially new coach in my eyes.